In this lecture, we're going to create a host-only network in VirtualBox, and we're going to connect our Kali Linux virtual machine to the network. The reason why we're going to do this is that host-only networks allow the VM to communicate with the host and the guest. In this instance, the guest is our Kali Linux VM, and it also allows it to communicate with other virtual machines on the same host-only network. This will be useful for when we want to communicate with our guest VM from our host computer, and we also want to communicate between the guest VM and another guest VM. So to start, open VirtualBox, and in the top left corner, select File. Choose Preferences, and then on the Network tab, we're going to open that, and then we're going to choose Host-Only Networks. Now here I already have a host-only network, you can see, and I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to click the plus sign here on the right-hand side of the screen. I'm prompted by user access control. I'm going to select yes. Now it's creating the host-only interface. Now we can see here that we have host-only Ethernet adapter number 3, VirtualBox host-only. So I'm going to select this network, and I'm going to choose either the tool sign here on the right-hand side that stands for Edit Selected, or I'm going to double-click on the network. Now here it inputs a IP address for this network, and it automatically finds a free IP address, and it just generates it automatically. I want to choose a different address. Now you can go with the one that's automatically input, or you can use something else. I am going to use .15 because I know on my network nothing else is using that. I'm going to go over to DHCP server, and I'm going to click Enable Server. And what the DHCP server does is when a computer is connected to this host-only network, it will be able to automatically obtain an IP address from this DHCP server that we're going to set up. So for the server address, we're going to use the same IP version 4 that we're using for the adapter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click .15.1. For the server mask is going to be same as the network mask. So I'm going to copy and paste that 255.255.255.0. And for the lower address bound and the upper address bound, this is the range of IP addresses that you would like your VMs to be assigned. So again, it's going to be the same first 3 octets. And I'm going to set it to 10. And I'm going to end it at 254. The reason why we don't use 255 is because that's the broadcast address. And we don't want to use .1 because that's our DHCP server address and our network address. So I'm just going to pick .10, just keep it simple. Now I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click OK again. Make sure you make note that this is, on my computer, Ethernet adapter 3. On your computer, if it's the first one, it might be number 1 or it might be number 2, whatever the case may be. Just make sure you take note of the number if you have more than one. Select OK. Again, we'll be prompted by user account control. Select yes. Now I'm going to go to my Kali Linux VM. I'm going to right click on the VM, and I'm going to choose Settings. Go to the Network tab, select Adapter 2. Now, if the adapter is not already enabled, check the Enable Network Adapter checkbox. Under Attached to, select Host Only Adapter. Now under Name, we need to choose the network that we just created. In this instance, or in my case, it's number 3. I'm going to select OK. Now if we scroll down here under the virtual machine properties, we can see that adapter 2 is connected to VirtualBox host-only Ethernet adapter number 3. Now if I start the virtual machine, we will see what IP address it's granted from DHCP. My guess is going to be .10 since that was the first address we listed. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as root. Now that Kali Linux is loaded, I'm going to open the terminal. And I'm going to type in ifconfig. Here we can see Ethernet 0, which is connected to our NAT, and Ethernet 1, which is connected to our host-only network. We can see that it took the first IP address in the range that we selected, 192.168.15.10. Now, what I want to do is I want to try and ping this from my host computer. So not on the virtual machine, but on my host computer, I'm going to open Command Prompt by clicking the Windows button in the bottom left corner and typing in CMD. I'm going to open Command Prompt, drag this over so you guys can see it. I'm going to type in the command ping, and then I'm going to type in the IP address of the VM that our Kali Linux operating system is running on, 192.168.15.10. And here we can see we're getting a reply from the virtual machine. This means that our communication between our host and our VM is working. Let's close Command Prompt and close Terminal. And now we're done with this lecture. Great job setting up your host-only network, and I will see you in the next lecture.